morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today, we need to take a look at Victini VMAX, and for what it's worth, there is a new Victini V coming here as well. Now, of course, some of you may well have realised that we've already had a Victini V. Victini V came out in the Sword and Shield base set. It was in one of those V decks over in Japan. Well, it turns out we're getting another Victini V, and we're getting a Victini VMAX. I'm going to tell you right off the bat, I am excited about Victini VMAX. This one looks awesome. Now, our translation comes from the lovely Antoine Boulet, which probably shouldn't come as much of a surprise at this stage. And if we start off with the basics, we've got 190 HP, which is fine. It's what the other one had. It's not particularly high. It is very much on the lower end for a Pokemon V, but it is Victini, so I suppose it is kind of expected. Kind of. I don't know. We've got ourselves a retreat cost of 1, which is nice and low. It means that you can get free retreat with U-turn board, which is quite nice. And you've got a weakness to water, which honestly is alright. Frostmoth decks are out there. Inteleon VMAX has seen a little bit of play, but we've really not seen many water decks in recent months doing particularly well. So I think it's one of those where we can kind of ignore it until we're given reason not to. And being a fire Pokemon, just like it has been for a while, is awesome. Because you've got Welder. Welder lets you attach 2 fire energy while drawing 3 cards. It's one of the best supporter cards in the game. It is what makes fire decks awesome. We like it very much indeed. You've also got stuff like Giant Half and Fire Crystal to get your energy out of the deck or discard. And of course, you're hitting weakness on 2 different typings here. So you've got your metal Pokemon, like for instance, I don't know, Zacian, which is quite big at the moment. And then you got all your grass Pokemon like Zarude as well. And yes, I know that these grass Pokemon are not exactly taking the format by storm yet, but there is a definite chance that at some point in the near future they just might. But what does it actually do? Well, according to the lovely Antoine Boulet, the first attack here for 1 fire energy does 10 damage base plus 50 more if your opponent's active Pokemon is a Pokemon V. Okay. It's alright. I mean, 60 damage is fine, but let's not get over the top excited about it. 60 damage is okay, but I call this video something like Victini VMAX destroys Pokemon V. This is not why. As for the second attack, 2 energy, 120, discard all energy from this Pokemon. I am down with this because of the weakness that you're hitting. That's the most important thing here. You do 120 damage, you discard 2 energy, but don't forget the Welder's a thing. So essentially, you go second, turn 1, you Welder 2 energy onto Victini, and then you hit for 120, and then the energy goes away. But if you're against a Zacian or a Zamazenta or anything that's weak, Zacian and Zamazenta being the main ones, there are others, then all of a sudden this becomes a whole lot better. Remember that Zamazenta is going to block your VMAX. Well, Zamazenta's not going to do much here. You're hitting 240, Zamazenta's got 230. Although it is important, because you are just getting a KO, something like a Metal Goggles will actually save them, so you have been warned. Against Zarude, you will go and get a 1-hit KO here, which is lovely. It's not a great attack, but it will get the majority of single prize Pokemon, and it will get anything that's weak. And it's, I go second, play a Welder, blow up whatever's in front of you. That's a good thing, ladies and gentlemen. That's a very good thing indeed. But you see, while Anton was translating these, all of the Victini V from the starter deck, the one from Sword and Shield, sold out on online stores. That is to say that as soon as we saw Victini VMAX and the new Victini V, a bunch of Japanese people went and bought out the old Victini, clearly thinking that the old Victini is the better among them. For what it's worth, I'll be honest with you, I have been onto eBay this morning and bought myself a playset of the old Victini, because the VMAX is really good. We'll get there in a second. The old Victini, for a single energy, you search for free fire from your discard and attach them to your Pokemon in any way you like. Or for 2 energy, 30 damage for each energy attached to both active Pokemon. It's a better Pokemon. It's got a higher retreat cost, which is a little bit sad. But the 60 damage, 1 energy to a Pokemon V is rarely going to be relevant. And although I like the 2 energy 120, the fact that you've got to discard it really does mean it's only good against Pokemon where you're getting a key KO, and then you're losing the energy anyway. Whereas 2 energy and, fine, you got to wait for them to get the energy on, but the old Victini will get an easy KO on Zamazenta and Zacian. And to be fair, as soon as, say, Metal Goggles goes on, the new Victini is out of the KO range. But if Zamazenta's got 3 energy on and you've got 2 energy on Victini, you're hitting 300 with weakness, and that is, shall we say, quite a bit better. The fact that the old Victini sold out pretty much instantly when it was revealed probably shows you what you need to know about which is the better of them. I do like this new Victini, but the old Victini is better. But it really is the VMAX that is the main selling point here. This is why we're all getting very excited. Victini VMAX has 310 HP, which is frankly low for a Pokemon VMAX. I mean, we've seen as low as 300, but make no mistake about it, 310 is very, very low. You've got a retreat cost of 2, which means you've got to use Air Balloon for free retreat, but then again, we're probably using the old Victini V anyway, and you got that same weakness to water that we don't really care about because it's unlikely to be terribly relevant, at least in the near future. Now, for 1 colourless energy, attach up to 3 fire energy cards from your discard pile to your Pokemon in any way that you like, and if that sounds a little bit familiar, it should. It's literally, and I mean literally, the exact same attack as on the old Victini V. 1 colourless energy, attach up to 3 fire energy cards from your discard pile to your Pokemon in any way you like. It is identical. Now, I don't mind it on the old Victini V because in the early game you might just want to get the energy on the field. I do not like it when you're leaving a free prize Pokemon in the active to take a hit, and you are on at least your second turn of the game. I don't mind the attack, but if you're going to use it on Victini V, would ya? But the main attack here, we like it. 2 energy, 100 damage is fine if uninspiring, but if your opponent's active Pokemon is a Pokemon V, this attack does 120 more damage. When I told you that Victini VMAX destroys Pokemon V, I meant Victini VMAX destroys Pokemon V. Because against the Pokemon V, right, you are talking about 220 damage, and if we take a look at Pokemon V with HP equal to or greater than 230, i.e. that are out of range of this, we have Zamazenta, you're 10 damage away. Steelix, but Steelix is weak, so it doesn't really count. Rhyperior, you're 10 damage away. And Wailord. Now, to be fair, Wailord, you are actually 60 damage away, and they're hitting you for weakness. But as much as I love Wailord, and oh, believe me, I love Wailord, both as a Pokemon and as a card, I think at this stage we have unfortunately got to concede that Wailord V is, it's not spectacular, unfortunately. Oh, I should mention with Zamazenta, they're also weak. So there are 4 Pokemon Vs that are out of range, but Zamazenta and Steelix are weak. Rhyperior is 10 damage away, and then you've got Wailord that doesn't see any play. If you're really worried about the 10 damage, remember that Vitality Band will get the KO, or you could drop a Galarian Zigzagoon to chip off 10 HP or whatever. So, yeah. You've basically got 1 that is 10 damage away, and 1 that isn't terribly relevant. For 2 energy, Welder. You Welder onto a Victini VMAX, and you get an automatic 1-hit KO on essentially any Pokemon V. That is phenomenal. Absolutely flat out brokenly over the top phenomenal. Because Pokemon V are huge right now. Especially when we hit the rotation. Because we are going to hit a rotation soon. Wow. This is coming out for us in March, and we're going to hit the rotation like 5 months later. But still, we're not far away from a rotation. And GXs and Tag Team GXs go away. And what we're left with is Vs and VMAXs. And essentially, unless and until they VMAX, Victini destroys. Bearing in mind, single prize Pokemon, there aren't that many over 100. You're talking about evolved Pokemon, and decent evolved Pokemon at that. So you're still going to be able to get a KO on a lot of single prize Pokemon here, which is awesome. You don't just have to play a Victini VMAX set, there are plenty of other good fire Pokemon you can use as well. And I know that when we hit the rotation, we're going to lose Welder. Please don't think I've forgotten that we're losing Welder to the rotation. But the fact of the matter is, you're a 2-energy attack, so I don't care. Use a Turbo Patch before you VMAX. There we go. Use Rose. You got to discard your hand to, have something like Rose Tower ready, but Rose will pay this quite nicely. Or use a Victini V. Use a Victini V to go and put 1 energy onto each of 3 Victini V on the bench. And then each of those Victini V can VMAX, and they only need 1 energy to attack. I know you'll never need 3 more VMAXs, but that's not the point. The point is, between Turbo Patch, Rose, and Victini V itself, and technically the VMAX, but don't use it on the VMAX, you'll be absolutely fine in terms of energy. The weird thing is, as great as this is because of Welder, and it is, Welder is actually more of a luxury here than a necessity. We can pay... Now, don't get me wrong, I'm going to be playing Welder in my Victini deck. That's why I went and ordered 4 Victini. I honestly can't remember if I've got any Victini V. I know I bought a bunch of Sword and Shield. I can't specifically remember if I've got any Victini V. So I figured, go buy a playset. Why not? And incidentally... And this is a little tip for all you lovely... Because frankly, right, if you're watching my videos, I love you. And if you're still watching this video at this stage, it means you're watching the whole video. It means you're one of the best people that watches my channel. So I'm going to go and give you a little bit of a tip now. Go and buy a bunch of Victini V from Sword and Shield. Don't go and buy 50 so you can scalp them later. Don't be that guy. But do go and buy yourself a playset of the old Victini V. Because the old Victini V is better. I don't think there's much of an argument there. The old Victini V is awesome. It is better than the one. I like the new one, but nowhere near as much as I like the old one. But this Victini VMAX, especially post-rotation, has the potential to be genuinely nuts. You're talking about single prize Pokemon above 100 HP and VMAXs. That's basically it. They are the only Pokemon you're remotely worried about. And there are going to be a lot of Pokemon V running around when we hit rotation. And Victini is going to come and crush them. This is one of the most exciting cards we've seen in a while. It is an absolute flat-out, no question, 5 Wassies from me. This, to me, looks like it might become one of the big decks moving forward. Because the only way to really counter it is VMAXs, and we've all got ways around VMAXs. I think it's a phenomenal card, but I'd like to know what you think. So let me know in the comment section, would ya? Go nuts, be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWassie, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.